going on, guys? So Ford Fusion 2018 Sport. This is the V6 2.7 liter twin turbo. I'm gonna do a quick little video on a serpentine belt replacement. Also gonna add in idler pulley and tensioner pulley. I'll show you what that involves. I can't find really anything online on this motor with doing the belt or the tensioner, pulleys, anything. There's really not a lot out there on the internet on these things, and I guess that's according they're not that old of a car, and I'd imagine most of them are probably getting worked on at the dealers through warranty service. So, but I'm going to show you this. You might be surprised. We already did have a failing idler pulley on the serpentine belt system, and actually come to find out the tensioner assembly pulley went bad on us. So anyway, stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to do this. First off, you got to take the wheel on the passenger side off. Obviously jack the car up, take the wheel off, put stands underneath it, make it safe. We're going to be working on the passenger side of the car. You do have to remove a couple things. I'm going to show you here first. Those are my blacked out headlights and fog lights. Let me walk you around the back for a second. I think it's pretty cool. I just got done with this the other day. So there's your, excuse my car, it's dirty. It's middle of winter here, it's January. It's got salt on it. I haven't washed it yet. I need to do it tomorrow. But anyways, blacked out tail lights. Don't know if I'm going to black the chrome out or not. Kind of like it the way it is. The turn signal and then the reverse light are not blacked out. The reflectors on the bottom, I did not black those out yet. I probably will. Still making some decisions on what I want to do with this car, so I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, let me show you a couple things here, and then I'll cut the video and then come back. Wheels off. So what we're going to get into, you've got two plastic rivets. Oops, sorry. There's two there. Got one buried in there, one up there, one up there. That'll take the side off. You've got a little threaded metal washer here, one over there, and then I took out this one up top here, almost next to the strut, and I'll show you why here. But what we're trying to do, try to get a better zoom, we're trying to get in back behind this panel. All of your serpentine belt and accessory pulleys, idler pulley, and tensioner are literally right behind this plastic. So let me pause this, remove this piece, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, so got this piece taken off here. Let me zoom back out a little bit. So this is what you do. Just peel this inner liner back just enough so you can get a couple hands or one hand in here. You don't need much. So you're going to take off the underbelly tray underneath here. All I did was take off the front bolts and one side bolt on the passenger side. I just need this to drop down just enough just to get one hand through it. I don't really need to take the whole thing off, and taking this whole thing off is it's more fun than I want to have. So anyways, pretty simple. Let's see if we can get you back in here. Sorry, excuse me. What you're looking at there on the left is the crank pulley. On the right hand side is the tensioner. To the upper left in between them on top is the idler pulley. You can't see, you can probably see a little bit. There's the compressor, AC compressor, and the alternator is up top to the right, and then also the water pump is up on very top. You can't see that down here. In fact, when you put a new belt on, the only thing that you need to do from the top, let me see if I can get you, see those three silver bolts in the middle? That's the water pump pulley. The only thing you need to do from the top is just make sure you got the belt over top of that water pump pulley. Usually I just stick a hand right down where this flashlight's going and just push the belt on top if you need to. Honestly, from the bottom, I was able to get the belt routed around almost every pulley from the bottom. I just had to check on top to make sure it went around the water pump pulley. Pretty simple. The tensioner, we're going to grab a hold of the bolt that holds on the pulley. Sorry guys, wasn't prepared for this. So on the right hand side, that small pulley, 13 millimeter socket, and it's a reverse thread bolt. So that means to come off, you're going on, and going on, you're going off. So righty-tighty is not righty-tighty, it's lefty-tighty, righty-loosey, it's backwards. So you can grab a hold of that bolt with a ratchet and a socket and turn it to the off position on a snap-on, obviously, or basically turn it to the loosen position, and you're going to basically act like you're trying to take the bolt off, and it'll undo the tension on that spring. So I'll show you here in a second. I'm doing all of this from inside of the subframe here. You can see where my flashlight's going. There's a gap between the oil pan and the subframe. Your arm will fit perfectly in there. A ratchet fits perfectly in there. You have enough room for a ratchet to for throw distance to release the tension on the tensioner. It's pretty straightforward, guys. It's really not that hard of a job, other than taking off this inner liner and that belly pan. It's not that bad. So, but I'll be back. I'll show you here what's going on. Hey guys, real quick. So there's my ratchet on the tensioner. So basically I'm in the off position. This is a snap-on. I'm going to go all the way towards the rear of the car, and I'm going to, whoops. Okay, sorry, one-handed. And then I'm going to pull towards the front of the car to release the tension. Okay, I'm going to show you that real quick. Why I had a chance while I get it set up. Be right back. Okay guys, got resituated. So let me double check that real quick, guys. I'm sorry, 15 millimeter for the tensioner bolt. The idler pulley, get my finger out of the way, idler pulley right there is a 13. Okay, so we're going to release the tension, and what you're going to do, the AC compressor, which is the lowest pulley on the belt system, when you release that tension, just slip the belt off of the bottom of this pulley. You've got enough room to do it. This is a newer belt that's on here. It's not a worn belt. It's not cracked, dry rotted, or anything. So even with the newer belt, with releasing the tension on the tensioner, I can slide the belt off of this pulley without an issue, which will undo everything. So I will not be able to show you a routing diagram. It is stored in my head. I did look at a picture of it. There are places on the internet. Google has pictures of the routing diagram for the 2.7. You can find them online. It's not that hard of a routing diagram. I've seen more complex belt routings. This is definitely one of the easier ones. It's not that hard. Like I said before, I was able to reach, so these are AC lines right here. These two AC lines that run across right in front of your work area. I was able to get my hands and then a tiny screwdriver, and I can get the belt over top of the water pump pulley from down below. I can literally take this belt on and off from underneath the car. Now obviously when I was done, before I started the engine, I went up top, looked at the top of the water pump pulley to make sure it was sitting on the ribs, and it was, so no issues there. I am going to take off this pulley on this tensioner, and I'm going to show you why here in just a second, why I'm replacing that. Okay guys, let me show you. So I broke the bolt loose. I'm turning it towards the rear of the car to loosen the bolt, which is normally the way you tighten a bolt. Again, this is a reverse thread bolt. It's set up that way so you can put tension on the bolt to release the tension on the spring on the tensioner. Sorry, a lot of tension words there. But anyway, so this is taking the bolt off. Okay, so I'm actually pushing the wrench towards the rear of the car, or basically spinning the bolt clockwise to remove the bolt. Okay, so as soon as I get this out, I'll show you. Alright guys, let me show you something. So this car, 51,000 and change miles on this car. It's a 2018. It is now January of 2022. Excuse me, hang on a second guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna sit you down for a minute. I'm gonna put my gloves on while I talk. So 50,000 miles in this vehicle. I am the second owner. I'm assuming no one has changed these pulleys. Maybe have changed the belt, but then again, that may be stock too. I don't know. What I do know is both the idler pulley and the pulley on the tensioner are bad. A couple different signs. So when this is on its mount, open your hood, turn the engine on, let the engine run. If you watch the belt on these pulleys, the smooth ones, you can watch the belt walk back and forth from left to right on this pulley. Now granted, it's doing a lot faster than what my finger's doing, but you can watch the belt walk back and forth this way. You can see it. I would hear a slight chirp from time to time, especially cold starts. Not a noticeable chirp. It was almost like, to me, it sounded like it was somebody else's car making that noise that was farther away, is how slight of a chirping noise this was. So once I got the belt off, and took the tension off of the belt and took the belt off of the pulley, you can grab the pulley and you can wiggle it back and forth like this. Not to this severity. Okay, so I mean, you're talking, you know, just a tiny wiggle back and forth. Okay, it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be nice and solid. Another key, let me see if I can get you to see this. Let me set this down. I may have to zoom in. There's chatter marks on this pulley. Zoom it, get a glare. It's hard to see. In person, you can see it almost looks like fish scales. There it is. I don't know if you can see it or not. See on the outsides of it, there's like, looks like chopping marks. That's from the belt rocking back and forth. There it is. There's a little better shot. But anyway, so you got chatter marks on this plastic, and that's where the pulley was rocking back and forth as the belt's going across it. Both of these pulleys were doing this. Another problem, this is the back of the pulley. You can see the grease. I get my camera to focus. Here, I'll tell you what, let me... Woo! There it is. There's the grease. All the grease is being slung out of this bearing, and that's from the bearing actually chattering back and forth. And the bearing itself has gone bad, is what's happened. So all that movement is knocking around, and this plastic protective ring is getting moved around, and the grease is tossed out of it as it's spinning. Let me show you. You can probably see those chatter marks. Can't get a good. It's hard to get a good angle on it. In person, you can see it like day. Well, there's a small part of it, but anyways, you'll see it. And like I said, you'll hear it. Let me back out of here. There we go. So anyways, a heads up for you, when you look up parts for this, it'll only show you one part number, and that's because both pulleys are the same pulley. They both use a part number. This is Gates part number 38018 for Gates aftermarket. Both pulleys are the same. The idler and the tensioner pulley are the same pulley. So if you need to replace one or both, same part number. I would suggest to get two of them and replace both of them. It's super easy to do. Taking the idler pulley off is super easy. Replace both of them. Like I said, both of mine, I took the other one off and threw it away already, but both of mine looked exactly like this one does. chatter marks, had play in the bearing, grease was being slung out of the inside of it. They're bad, okay? And at 50,000 miles, I don't know whether I'm shocked or not, but we'll see. But anyways, guys, just a heads up for you on the 2.7 twin turbos. Replace these pulleys along with your belt. Now, as far as the belt goes, this is Bando brand. This is aftermarket. You can see the part number on it, 6PK1725. This is incorrect. According to a couple parts stores I had, this is the listing for the serpentine belt for my car. That is not correct. Okay, the 1725 is actually code for exactly how long this belt is. I believe in inches, if I remember my parts days right. That is incorrect. This is the new belt. Okay, that come off there. This barely fits on the engine. With the tensioner fully released, you have to put so much pressure on this to get it over the last pulley. It's not even funny. Now, when I look at my Ford Motorcraft belt, this is the part number that's stamped on it. Okay, the F2GE 6C301AA is the Ford Motorcraft part number. The 6PK1743, there's your length right there, 1743, and this is a 1725. So obviously the 725 is smaller than the 743, so therefore this is, the 725 is a shorter belt than what is on this vehicle. So I'm doing some work right now with one of the parts guys to see why it's showing that this belt size fits these engines. It does not. So if you get this part number or any one of these numbers, 679K6, the K numbers, any of these part numbers on this box, this will not work. Don't get it. Either go to Ford and get this part number, or have your parts guy look up the 6PK1743. That's the size and the ribs on it. So just a little heads up for you. It's what I ran into. I've been running into fun things with these 2.7s, and being a very hard car to buy parts for. So, but anyways, guys, I'm gonna put this thing back together. Obviously, opposite of removal. The bolt for the tensioner assembly just goes in opposite of what you would think it would be. So you're actually going to turn it to the left to tighten it. It doesn't need to be too tight. When you tighten this bolt down and you put your ratchet back on there to release the tension on the pulley so you can put your belt back on, how that will actually tighten this bolt up, and that's as tight as it needs to be. This is not a very big bolt, okay, and it goes into aluminum, so do not over tighten this bolt. Same thing with the idler pulley. I did it, hand wound it down until it was snug, put a ratchet on it until it was tight. Don't over torque these things, you'll break them, and if you break them, oh boy, you're gonna have some fun. So anyways, guys, if you have any questions or comments, concerns, anything like that, leave me a message. I'll try to get back to them. Thanks.